what is Tunis doing about police reform?
In Tunisia worked under a dictatorship regime, and the revolution managed to remove a lot of the security officials who were part of the ex-regime. However, the cleansing of the security system is still being discussed on the table, as many are not yet comfortable with the status quo now, even if there were many positive changes. However, the cleansing of the security system in Tunisia is still being discussed by everyone, as many are not comfortable with the status quo, even with the small positive changes that are happening. What is demanded is a complete cleansing of the system to enhance security in the country and establish a constitutional legal security system that would push the economy forward and prevent it from falling and failing again.
شعبت الأمور بصورة واضحة. من جهة عودة العاملين التونسيين لليبيا دعم طائرة البطالة، وهؤلاء يطالبون الحكومة التونسية لا بحل الحكاية فحسب بل استرجاع
regarding the borders with Libya. What's happening is Libya has led that a lot of Tunisian workers who were working in Libya came back to Tunisia, which meant that there was a high rate of unemployment in the country, and there was an issue with the remittances that needed to be discussed at the national level. Also, this has led to an increased number of refugees in Tunisia coming due to the conflicts that are happening at the border, which has negatively impacted the economy. We have refugees from Eritrea, Somalia, and Sudan, and many of those refugees do not want to go back to their own countries or to go back home, which is more of a load on the economy of the country. The issue of refugees in the beginning has been dealt by international organizations, but this effort has been lagging behind now, which led to the situation where Tunisian nationals in the south have taken upon themselves to host those refugees in their own homes, sharing what little that they have with those refugees as well to make their lives better. And also, the issue of refugees also links to the whole security issue, which causes a lot of problems on that level as well.
Thank you very much. We have two microphones. My colleague is using one. I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to go around the tables and giving the microphones in order that the people can ask a question. I have one lady here. Please.
Thank you. I have one question each for His Excellency Sergio Bitar, and one for His Excellency Abdel Fattah, who will be Commissioner for Corruption. On the Chile front, if you can just give us some hints on how you promoted employment, especially in the early years, with the astounding reduction in poverty, which you mentioned earlier this morning, which was halved from 40% to less than 20% in a short period of time. Egypt has been growing respectfully, and I have no problem with agreeing that overall the ideology and the model was all right, but poverty has been totally stagnant at 20%, the lower poverty line. So on the employment front, and in terms of what quick wins can one think of on the education front especially, and the housing, because everybody's complaining that the Ministry of Finance and the government has decided in our cabinet to put a lot of emphasis on housing and building a whole million units in 5 years. Economists feel that, if the previous government was unable to do half as much, although it was on the presidential strategy of Mubarak, it was 6 years to build 500,000, and we didn't manage. So, what kind of hints do you have, either to do with finance or with arrangements? And with regards to corruption, what kind of time frame do you have in Tunisia to finish with that mess? Because we have very high corruption that is being investigated. And it is, I think, one of the major reasons for insecurity, especially on the part of the private sector, and getting the economy to grow again. So, one can say, as we heard this morning in the economic session, that it should be a continuous process of investigations, etc. But how do you provide the trust among the population? On the one hand, that wants to see people put in jail and made to bring back whatever they took from the state, and at the same time give those who are, who are in the private sector the confidence to go back to work.
Thank you very much. Shall we start with the question to you, because we have to leave within some minutes.
Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. You can use the
بخصوص منذ عمل لجنة تقصي الحقائق حول الرشوة والفساد الأملاك المكتسبة بصورة غير شرعية وغير مشروع، وقد وقع استصدار أملاك 110 من الأشخاص الذين ينتسبون إلى عائلة الرئيس السابق، فضلا عن الرئيس نفسه وزوجته. من الناحية الثالثة، من الناحية الثانية، الدور يتمثل وإعادة الثقة تتمثل كذلك في استرجاع الأموال الموجودة في الخارج والمكتسبة بصورة غير مشروعة، وهي عملية صعبة ومتشعبة، وقد بدأ العمل في هذا الاتجاه. مهمة ثالثة في إعادة الثقة هي التقصي في الحقائق المتعلقة بالرشوة والفساد، البحث فيها عن مؤشراتها، والبحث في كل التجاوزات في هذا المجال، وإحالة من ثبتت إدانته على القضاء. وقد تم إلى حد الآن إحالة 108 ملف على القضاء، من بينها أو أغلبيتها تتعلق بالرئيس السابق وزوجته في أسراره وبالمقربين منه. هذا إضافة إلى عديد الملفات الأخرى التي وقع النظر فيها ووجد حلول ولو جزئية. ولمجرد الإشارة أود القول أن اللجنة تلقت من المواطنين ما يقارب اليوم 8000 ملف، كثيرها ثقيل. هذا إضافة إلى الملفات التي تحيلها الإدارة على اللجنة والملفات التي تتولاها اللجنة من باب التعهد الذاتي. استعادة الثقة تمر كذلك بمعاقبة من أجرم في حق الشعب التونسي في المجال الاقتصادي، والمظاهر في هذا المجال عديدة. كذلك استعادة الثقة تقتضي إقامة الإنصاف أو حد أدنى من الإنصاف، لا من خلال القضاء وحده، بل من خلال جبر الضرر، من خلال التعويض، وكذلك أحيانا من خلال مجرد إعادة الاعتبار بضحايا الرشوة والفساد. نعتقد أن هذا العمل الذي من المفروض أن يتواصل بهذه اللجنة أو بلجنة ذات موقع يساعد على استرجاع الاقتصاد التونسي للثقة التي هو في حاجة إليها، فضلا على أن نحن الآن بصدد وضع هذا الجهاز قام وضع الإطار القانوني لمقاومة الرشوة والفساد، مراجعة القوانين والتراتيب، وكذلك محاولة إبراز بعض الممارسات الفضلى. هذه هي علاقتنا بالاقتصاد، وشكرا إن كنت مضطرا.
In regards to the time frame of the National Fact-Finding Mission on Corruption, it has no time frame. It's an ongoing mission until all the duties and responsibilities are undertaken. So there's no specific time frame. However, I have to mention that we are in the process of forming an independent mission to combat corruption, which is going to be, hopefully, a permanent mission to continue its investigations and protect the future of Tunisia. The work of the current fact-finding mission, it is an independent commission, not a governmental one, and this is something that we need to emphasize on. And our tasks are revolving around regaining the confidence of the people through the, in terms of confiscating all properties that were illegally obtained by members of the former president, his family, and those close to him, regaining the monies that were transferred abroad and were legally obtained, which is a very difficult and complicated task, but we have started undertaking that. Investigation of corruption and bribery cases. We're in the process of setting up indicators, investigating all violations in this area, and we are filing cases with the judiciary. We have 1,006 cases that were filed related to the former president. I don't know if I got the number right. 106, we have Sitta? 108 minus plus 2. 108 cases were filed related to the former president, close friends and members of family, among other cases. We have received 8,000 cases from the public, and I'm going to use the same term, heavy cases of corruption and bribery, in addition to all those that we review on a personal basis and those that are forwarded to us by the administration. We investigate all who criminalized the Tunisian people in terms of the economic side to ensure the minimum average of equality, especially in terms of compensation and regaining the reputation of those who were affected by corruption cases. The work of the Commission is ongoing, as I said, and it will work on regaining faith in the Tunisian economy. And we are in the process of setting up a legal framework to fight bribery and corruption, to review the existing laws and legislation, and to showcase best practices in these areas.
Thank you very much. I think Josephine has to leave, but you leave a very impressive image of what you're doing. We can put that all the steps forward. Thank you very much. So we continue with the question about poverty reduction. Yeah, but before no. Before giving the no. There is no answer yet given to the latest question: poverty reduction policy.
I shall speak 1 minute.
No, you have to wait. Okay, sir.
Heba. I remember your name. Yes. Let me just say that employment, the only way, as I said before, is to put the energy to work and to create more jobs through, I would say at the beginning, private sector. That's mostly this private sector. If you don't have a strong private sector, you cannot keep growing the apparatus of the state that is already very bureaucratic and costly. So we had to move in that direction. But at the same time, we created special employment programs coming from the government and operating through the regions and the municipalities. And that was a temporary job, according to the situation you were living. If we had a crisis, and we had twice, I remember the Asian debt created lots of problems. So we put those monies into, for instance, 3 months. We could expand that to 6 months, directed to women, poor families, and to sustain these families, in addition to the subsidies to those families coming from other social services. What we didn't do from the very beginning was to subsidize products. Because products, you can say, let's have the milk and whatever it is, but you don't know what the rich people will do with the milk. Or the guys that produce milk, probably they will send milk in some other direction, capturing the subsidy and then using that in some way that it doesn't work. So what we did was to focus the subsidies on the people, the lower income groups, not on the government. So that they can decide what they do. Of course, in some specific groups, you need to provide the service, whether it's education, health, water, electricity, services. So, in that sense, we have this combination of growth and special programs for employment. And in some cases, we also had incentives to companies that will hire young people, for instance. And we had lots of investment put into training in order that they become, and to reconvert people. We had coal mines that were closed, so all these people, what you do, you put them into 3 months, 4 months, you pay that amount, and and gave them training in other areas so they can move in the economy in other directions. So that's one thing. On the poverty side, it's very low, slow process. We came down from 40, a little bit more than 40, to 13, 12, but it took us 20 years. At the beginning, it's easier, because when you put employment and you give those subsidies, probably you can go down from 40 to 20. But then, poverty becomes very hard to deal with, because it has to do with culture. So in that case, we had to develop a new program called Chile Solidario, Solidario Chile. And it's a program that probably will bring to Egypt, to show us the Brazilians come, show the Bolsa Familia, and the Mexicans have nice programs focusing on low-income groups. So we put a system to work that we will have people visiting each house, each home, and see and talk with the people and see if they were sending their child to school, if they were using the subsidies that they were authorized to use, and also to train them, so to help them even with some money so they can start a small business or whatever it is, to take them out. But that's the hardest, that was at the end. Now we are 3% of the population are under the extreme poverty line. That means that the money they earn is not enough to eat. And therefore, we have said we have to put all our efforts so that in the next 5 years, Chile is out of poverty. But that's it. It's a major statement, and we have been fighting for decades with that statement. But it has to do with the direction of events and the political resolution to do it, and of course the political strength of parties, center-left, that believe on that. Because if you don't believe, and there is somebody that just thinks that with growth it's enough, the trickle-down effect doesn't work at all, less than in this world of extreme and rapid concentration of income. And they know that. Thank you.
Housing. Tell me about
The housing question.
On housing, we have a very nice system that also we can offer that to bring it here. From the very beginning, it has worked many years ago, but it's a subsidy. So we select the families. There are points that are with a commission and a system to select those families that are more entitled to get that, to order them, and you give them a subsidy. They have to save some amount, and you put the rest, and you bid that with companies that will build those houses, and they will give the houses to the government, and the government will apply this list. So according, we imagine we have 17 million, and we are producing those social houses 150,000 per year. So we kept moving down in our deficit of housing, but that was the system. And when we became more rich, let us say, we moved from $5,000 per person to what we have now, 10 or 12, we start providing a subsidy for all. So they will put a small saving, but they will not have to pay every year a dividend, because there are poor families. Also, we expanded the quality to have 2 rooms. So this kind of policy, I think, it's something that we can bring here and to show what we need to see if it helps you.
It's a great idea. The gentleman before has a question.
أحادث العربية بالإنجليزية ولن أطيل إلا في 3 دقائق. أنا أرى أن هناك 8 دول الD8 زي G8 فرنسا 2011. هنا 8 دول من دول العالم النامي أو دول العالم السادس. نحن في هذه اللحظة سننتهي بعد دي السيمي فاينل سيشن، فأنا بأكد يبدو أننا سنخرج فارغ الأيدي بلا أي توصيات. هناك هذا المؤتمر يعقد تحت مظلة هيئة الأمم المتحدة، وأن المشرع الدستوري حينما يصوغ فقراته فإنه دائما أمامه المعاهدات الدولية، حتى أن هناك كثير من الدول يأخذ مواثيق الأمم المتحدة ويضعها كديباجة في أي ميثاق من دول العالم 184 دولة. أنا دائما في مصر هنا يعني سمعنا عن الرئيس المقتول، كنا نريد ونحن في مسامراتنا أن نجد الإكس بريزيدنت الرئيس السابق، ولكن يبدو أننا سنجد الرئيس الهارب بن علي، الرئيس المخلوع مبارك، الرئيس المصاب بن صالح، الرئيس المختفي القذافي، الرئيس المعارض الأسد أو المفوض. دائما هناك مقولة في المؤتمرات: لا تتركوا الحكم، لا تتركوا الحرب للعسكريين، وأنا أقول دائما: لا تتركوا الحكم للسياسيين. دائما هنا كان يمثل في هذه القاعة بعض فلول رؤساء الأحزاب السابقين الذين أفسدوا الحياة السياسية، لأنهم يعملون ككومبارس أو قوقة موسيقية تعمل وفق هوى المايسترو الدكتاتور. هناك تمويل، بحكم كوني محاسبا ومحاميا، هناك تمويل للأحزاب يفسد الحياة السياسية ويضربها بالرقابة المالية ويزقها في غياب السجون والمعتقلات عند الخروج على اللوائح والقوانين. يبدو أن لفظ المرابي في صبانا كنا نظنه لفظا اقتصاديا، ولكنه بات لفظا سياسيا. هناك من يرابي وهناك من يزايد على شعبه وعلى أمته وبني جلدته. في نهاية هذا اللقاء ونحن منصرفون لقضاء أمسية في القاهرة وحزم الأمتعة بالسفر والعودة مع ظلال المنى، أرجو أن تكون هناك اتفاقية لمنع الدكتاتوريات ومنع التعديلات التي أصابتنا بها الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية ب 27 تعديل مقابل 24 نص دستوري. هذا